Morning, everybody. Getting my stream started. I went right at the top of the hour today because I'm going to be playing with all sorts of settings. So I decided to do my pre-stream setup or pre-stream checks during the stream today. So I'm just giving the first. I got everything set up, and then when I go and start streaming, I push my record button, and then I start streaming and give everything just a minute or so to make sure it all connects correctly. I'm streaming out to 4 different platforms today, so I'm going to be checking that and going through all those, but that's what I'm doing right now. I have everything set, and I'm just letting it come up, and then I'm going to go through and check them, and I'm going to show you where I'm at. So just give me a quick second and let this do its thing, and then I will get started. All right, the indicators in the settings tell me that I am on and rolling. So we are going to switch up and fade into me. Good morning. How you doing? My name's Michael. I'm out here streaming 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time up in the great Pacific Northwest. It's freezing up here right now. We got about 8 inches of snow at my house. And then it stayed cold, so it froze. It doesn't usually do that up here, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, what I'm doing today, I've got this set up as I'm going to be going through mainly and checking my OBS settings. When I did my stream a couple of weeks ago, it was terrible. I don't know exactly what the wrong setting was, but something was set wrong, and it was bad. So I'm working on optimizing that, and I'm going to go through my OBS settings, which I think I have dialed in right now, but I'm going to go through and change them, see if we can't make a mess, see if I can't make it a little bit better. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to be checking all the different platforms that I'm streaming to. I would have done this prior to starting, but I'm going to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and I think that's it. There may be another one. But that's what I'm doing today. I'm using Restream to do all of that. You can see my Restream chat up here. So if you're on any one of those platforms right now, as I go through and check, I'm going to be sending chat messages out. And so all of those chat messages should show up here. And then when I put chat messages in, they should go out to all those platforms. So that's going to be one thing we're checking. We're going to be checking my OBS stream settings. So what I'm going to be doing is starting and stopping the stream. So my first settings, I'll go through and just say what those are, show what those are, and then as I go through, I'll stop the stream, let things settle down, and then restart. So if you're here now, and don't worry, don't panic, I'm going to be here. So I've got a lot of things set up, and the biggest thing is that, any one computer only has so many resources to it. So if you're streaming and you're doing, gaming, or you are doing a demonstration or something where you're using a bunch of different programs, you're going to be using a lot of computer resources. So trying to optimize those is a good idea. And so I've got my resource monitor and my task manager up to double check things as I go along. I've got a lot of Chrome tabs open, and those eat up a lot of system resources and a bunch of different programs. I've got Discord open. That one tends to be a bit of a little resource hog. So we're going to go through, and as we adjust, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be checking my analytics on all my different the different platforms that I have available to me, OBS and Restream and YouTube, see what I can find on Facebook to see how that's going out. And then if that was all, fine and dandy before I started, then I would probably go ahead and close those down, all except the most important ones, so that I wasn't chewing up those resources as I went along, or pushed all that monitoring off onto somebody else or a separate computer altogether, which would probably be a better idea. But my computer is an older i3, so it's not the fastest or the bestest by any means, but we're going to see just what we can make it do. That's what we're going to find out today. When I first did my first stream, I loaded every possible thing I could think of on my computer. Everything. And I was my CPU was maxed out, my disk was maxed out, and it was just, it didn't look good. There was just too much going on. So if you're getting started out streaming, paying attention to knowing what's on your computer, knowing what you're running, hopefully not having anything in the background running that you don't need to. Windows updates are notorious. If you have that to set to an automatic update during a time when you're supposed to be streaming, your stream is going to go just real bad real quick. So you don't want to try and be downloading things in the background. If you've got, you don't want to be watching a Netflix, on your computer necessarily, unless that's part of your stream. So that's just for your personal computer, and then your own personal network as well, your upload, download speeds. Those are good to know, what you've got available to you, so that you can adjust what needs to be adjusted the most. And I've got pretty good internet speeds. I can download about 90 megabytes a second, and I can push about 6 up. So it's not terribly wonderful, but it's pretty good. It's pretty fast. So I should have enough bandwidth to handle what I'm doing, but you may not. So knowing where all these settings are is a good thing. If you caught my stream on Monday, I was talking about Zoom and all the settings in there, and sort of started that and ended that with talking about settings, because settings are just a fact of life. If you're streaming, there's so many different things to check and to double check. So checklists become a good thing. Well, especially when you're first starting out, checklists are a great thing, so that you can make sure you cover everything and you're not right in the middle of the stream needing to do something and not knowing what it is. So been there, done that. Very frustrating. So if you're out there, my name is Michael, and Michael Kyer, and I stream 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific. And I've been streaming now since the beginning of quarantine. I jumped on with my church to help push out Sunday services. I do that every Sunday, and I've been running all sorts of other meetings in between. Zoom meetings and Facebook streams and YouTube streams, and now I'm working on Twitch. I've been working on Twitch now for about 2 months, just about. Twitch is a great platform. There's so many wonderful people on it, musicians, artists, chatters. It's just it's a wonderful place to find some great content, and so that's one of my newer platforms. I was more doing Zoom and Facebook and YouTube for a long time, but now I'm kind of extending out where my stream goes. So yeah, Restream is what I'm using today. It's pretty cool. You can hook up to well, it's got about 30 platforms, I think, is what they said that's available, and so you send your stream out to them, and then they pump it out wherever it's going, and then loop back your chat, relay your chat back and forth. So that's a pretty handy thing. I tried monitoring each one of those individual monitoring each one of those individual chats at one time, and it just was not working. So I turned my mic down a little bit. Hopefully you don't get those spikes. I was spiking pretty good. So I'm going to get going here. I've got OBS running, is my broadcasting software, Open Broadcaster software. OBS, a big favorite of lots of streamers out there, and for good reason. It's open source and it's free and it's very robust. It's got everything you're going to need. You can make all sorts of stuff with it. You saw my opening scene was just an image from Canva that I made for my Twitter or my Twitch banner, and then I'm using that as just my intro slide, basically. And then I can switch back and forth. So we're going to be going on some of that. I'm not going to go into too much of how to make scenes or anything today, but I'm going to go and we're going to work specifically with settings. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over and show you my desktop, show you some of the things that I've got opened up here. So I'm going to get this out of the way. All right. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to that. Now you can see my desktop. I'm right down there in the bottom, and I'm going to change one thing. So you can see me right down there in the bottom. Now this is an overlay. The green and the programs you see are the ones that are on my desktop, but the chat box you see on the right is an overlay of my Restream chat. And the Restream chat is what you can see on the left. That's actually on my computer, but I'm just kind of showing that. So what OBS is doing is OBS is capturing that window and displaying it on the scene. So I can get rid of that or I can show it. I'm going to leave it up for a little bit, but I'm going to start clearing off some real estate as we go. So OBS is up in the center. I've got OBS stats down below that. Right now I'm at about 30 frames per second. And let's see what else have I got going on there. Dropped frames, so that's pretty good. And my total. Okay, so those are looking not too bad for right now. I'm going to go and pull up some of these other platforms that I monitor and show you what those look like. Now, the first one I'm going to go and check is Facebook or is YouTube. And I do that mainly because once I know that that's up and happy, I can close it out and I don't have to have an extra video feed going on. So everything loads your computer. So if I've got my Twitch channel open and I'm monitoring that, and I've got my YouTube open and I'm monitoring that, and I've got my Facebook open and I'm monitoring that, that's all going to be drawing in video and processing stuff. So I'm going to have those are all things that I can potentially eliminate from my computer load. So that is something. And in addition to all of these other monitoring pieces, I opened up just about everything I would normally use in most of my streams. So you can see at the bottom all the icons that I have open. A couple of different Chrome browsers. I've got my Zoom app open. I don't actually have a meeting open right now, but that would be something else that I would add. PowerPoint, Excel, VLC, Restream Chat, Discord, System Monitor, or Resource Monitor, Task Manager, that type of thing. So that's a lot of different things, but we are going to see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see where we're at right now. Let's see where we're at. So you can see right now at the top, my CPU is already cooking along pretty good. So we'll go ahead and click that on. So I've got a lot going on right now. 70%, and then you can see memory at about 30%. Disk is down low, so that's not too bad. And then my network, you can see what I'm pushing out as far as my stream goes. So can see that. Not too bad. And then, of course, my graphics processor. Make sure you can see that. Yep, you can see that. So that's where I'm starting at with what I usually use what I usually use for my streams. And so you can see my computer's already pretty well loaded. And if I were to go adding a game to this or a Zoom meeting, that's going to increase things a bit. So I'm kind of at the top of where I want to be. I know that I could have a more powerful computer, and that's something that's on the horizon for me. But I've got an older Intel i3 7th generation, and I can put out a pretty decent stream with this. So I think my computer is 7 years old, so it's definitely older, but you can still handle what you're doing if you are, a little, you pay attention and you check all the settings. And so checking settings is something I constantly remind people about. So I'm going to go down here and see. So we kind of know where I'm at. I'm going to move stuff off to my secondary screen just so I can keep an eye on it. But I'm going to show you these things kind of one at a time, and then we'll go from there. So that's kind of where we're at. And if things change too dramatically, I'll let you know and let you show that. But so I'll move that out of the way. I'll get this out of the way. Oops. Got that out of the way. Got that out of the way. There's so many different things. So, let's see. What have I got? I don't need that right this second. I don't need that right this second. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of some of this. Nope. Window capture. We're going to turn that off. Okay, so I turn my Restream chat off just so I can get that real estate. I'm going to move that out of the way. And finally, I'm going to turn myself off so that you don't see that. Okay, so OBS, I've got that open. I'm going to move that up there. Keep an eye on that. And these are my OBS stats. This is, you can find this in your view, down on your docs, and then stats here, status bar. So that's where you can find this, and this will give you the information going out of OBS that you can monitor. You don't have to have it open all the time. Once you've got it going and optimized, it should be okay to close it, but I just wanted to point that out, that's one of the things we're going to be looking at. So as I get started, what I like to do is make sure that I'm going out to all my different channels. So I've got a grouping here of most of them. So I've got my Twitch channel, yay. So if you're on Twitch right now, that's what you're seeing. And I've got, let's see, do I have audio on? Yeah, I've got audio on this. So in my headphones right now, I can hear that. Hopefully you're not hearing that, but we're going to check that in a second. So when I would start off, I would make sure my stream is up, running. It's not looking too choppy. It looks pretty good so far. So that's looking pretty good, and that's one of those things I'm gonna go ahead and close that out. That's something I'm not gonna, once I've made sure that it's up and running, I'll just close it out. Actually, I'm not gonna close it out, I'm just gonna move it, because I want to continue to check it. Facebook, that's another one. This is my personal page. And let's see, are you going? Let's refresh this. And there I am. So that's live. I can play that. And there I am, live for 20 minutes. Okay, that's looking good. Got my player popped out. That's looking good. All right, so I know that's running. And like I said, I used to go through and monitor each one of these, but for right now, I'm just going to add a comment. Let's see if that shows up on my Restream chat in just a second. It should. Yep. Okay, so that showed up on my Restream chat. I know that I can, if you're going to leave a message on Facebook, say, hi, I'm here. This is a place you can do it. And let's see, what else have we got? We've got Twitch, or Twitter, sorry, Twitter. Oh, I didn't do that one right. I'll do that one later. And I've got my personal website, which I have not updated, so I need to update that. Restream will only let you push to one channel, one YouTube channel before you have to get into it, before you hit the paywall. So if I wanted to be able to have that set up in my website, I'm going to have to be having another channel. So what I've been doing is just pulling the link from my live video. Pull up my live video, open that up. Live video looks good. Okay, that's looking good. And you can see in the chat here that I've got the message from Facebook that I just sent out, and it's showing up in this chat. So I've got the relay back and forth between them. So if you're on Facebook, that message will show up here, and if you're on, even if you're on my Discord, you can that'll send those chat messages back and forth. So that's a pretty neat, handy thing to kind of consolidate everything that you're doing. But what I've been doing is taking this link and then embedding it into my website, which I'll do here real quick because I've got it set up all nice and easy. So you'll see this in just a second when I refresh, but right now I'm going to do this sort of manually. I would have done this beforehand, like I said, but this is what I want to show you today. So all I'm doing is cutting and pasting that, embedding it into my website, and then moving it up so that you can see it, and updating my website. And we're going to go over here, check my website, and we're going to refresh that. Now at the top of my website you should have a link to the live feed. So that's what we've got going on my website. I just added a link to that. Now you could, if you were on my website, now you can see that. So that's pretty nice. It's another platform, my website. And then I've got, let's see, Larry, Daryl. This is me. I'm going to pause this and mute it just so I can save on some resources. It's not going to save me a whole ton, but it's going to save me some. So that's something that is good to know. So these are the main platforms that I'm sending to. I know those are looking pretty good. So normally what I would do is just go ahead and close those. But for right now, I'm going to move them out of the way because I'm going to be using them later. Actually, I'll leave them where they're at and just minimize them. Okay, so we've got those checked. Those looked good, and I got those out of the way. So let's just double check my system resources real quick and see. CPU, Ethernet router, it's still about the same, so not too bad. Okay, let's see. Do I need OBS there? No, I do not. Do I need it there? Yeah, I'm going to want that there for settings. Okay. So, we've got YouTube out of the way, taken care of. I'm going to close that up a little bit. So my YouTube, I want to double check this real quick before So I'm pushing my my feed out to Restream, and then Restream sending it out. So I'm not monitoring any streaming settings from YouTube. So it's not anything I necessarily need to check. But if you are going to be checking if you're just going to YouTube, then you can go and you could have your channel analytics give you an idea of what's going on with your stream. So I'm not using YouTube right now. I'm using Restream. So, but this is where I would be checking if I was using YouTube. So your YouTube Studio, Creator Studio, that's would be something you'd be monitoring. So let's see, Twitch. I've got my Stream Manager in here, and I'm going to double check that before I open it. And looks pretty good. So Twitch. Okay, so Twitch has got a Stream Manager as well. So if you're using Twitch, you're going to open that up. And this is my Stream Manager. It's got all my different bits for my streaming. But you can see here where you'll have a live tracking of what your stream looks like, your bit rate, frames per second. And so all of that's pretty steady. When I was first doing this, and I had that bad stream, you're going to get these huge spikes where your bit rate is not going to, it's going to drop off to nothing. And so that would tell you something's wrong. But right now I've got a nice steady, smooth line. And you can see here at the beginning when I started up and everything was sort of getting settled down, you had these spikes at the beginning. So Twitch has Stream Analytics that you can monitor. Now, this one is the Twitch Inspector, same thing. You've got a list of all the different streams that you've done. I'm looking at today's right now. And you can see where we're at with that. 30 frames a second, max bit rate at 2700-ish, average at 2400. You can see down here at the bottom. So not doing too bad, not doing too bad. It says I'm looking excellent. That's wonderful. Stable, that's good. Unstable here for a minute. But these are all things I can come to check to see how things are going, or as I get my stream moving, and I want to know how that's looking. I can come here and check those. So once I've checked those, these are all pre-stream checks that I would be doing, making sure that things are smoothed out. And I'm just going to put that there, get rid of that for a second, making sure things are smoothed out and looking good before I go and start my stream. So just about 10:30, we just sort of looked through all the different platforms that I'm streaming to. And so I'm going to get to Restream because this is the big one that I'm using, and it shows me sort of everything that I am using. But then I'll go into my OBS settings and we'll start playing with some of this and see if we can't make those different analytics change a little bit. So we will see how that looks. Studio mode. I'll just switch over to me real quick. Hi everybody, my name is Michael. And you can, let's see. Okay, yep, my name is Michael, Michael Kyer. I'm out here 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, streaming, talking about software for streaming, talking about Video conferencing as well. This is another aspect of video conferencing, getting on and being comfortable with what you're doing so that you can get out there and get your stream going. If you're thinking about it, if you're new to it, you want to learn more about it, you're trying to get up the courage to do it, here's the place to come. I can show you all sorts of different things. You can always hire me if you want some professional help to get something going for you, or you need some consulting work or something along that lines. I'm available for that, but for the most part, what I'm doing is I'm out here streaming out some really good information to get more voices out there. We need more voices. We need more positive voices is what we need. So that's what I'm doing. I'm here today. I'm going through what I would have done prior to my stream, is checking all of the different platforms and settings that I've got in place to see if my stream is looking good and sounding good and doesn't get all choppy and weird. So that's what all of these things are things I would have done beforehand, and then when I was happy with the way things look, close them down, save on some resources, and then move into my stream proper. But today is sort of behind the scenes, so you get to see all the boring, wizardy magic that goes into settings and everything else associated with it. I know everybody thinks it's exciting being a tech, being on the back end of things, but some days it's just boring. It's just checking numbers, making sure things are working, and then getting whoever the presenter is to get their presentation going. So yeah, so this is taking a little bit longer than it normally would. I can usually do this in a shorter amount of time because I'm not narrating as I go. But so today this is a more detailed example of what I would be doing prior to a stream. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show my Restream Analytics here real quick, and to show you what that looks like. And then I'm going to change some stuff, and then we're going to start talking about OBS settings. So Restream. So right now you can see all these places that I am sending to: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm going to get sending to LinkedIn here at some point, but there's some posting benchmarks and other things you have to do to get access to that. So that's in the future, but we're going to refresh this and see what we can get, see what we look like. Resolution is at 544 by 306. And there we go. Okay, so this is Restreams Analytics. So if you're using Restream, this is another place that you can find the same information that that's available in different places. So depending on what you're using, if you're just going to YouTube or you're just going to Twitch, then you're not going to have all of these that you need to check. You'll just have the stream analytics for that particular platform. But in my case today, I'm going out to a lot of different places. So I've got a lot of different things that I'm checking. But these are all things we're going to be checking in OBS and changing. Resolution, frames per second, bitrate, keyframe interval, and there was something else I can't remember. But that is what Restream is looking like. Oh, remove your branding. No, thank you. It's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind a little branding. Of course, I can't close it. Well, anyway. So analytics, current stream, bitrate. This is my where I'm at. Same thing we saw in the Twitch analytics, live tracking of what your bit rate looks like, going out to all these different places. So depending on what you need, you can find that information here. And my incoming, see what that looks like. Frames per second. That's fine. Resolution. And chat messages. Right now, just me, I think. I don't know anybody's out there. Yep, just me. Just one message from me. But that's okay. If you are a future person watching this, you can always leave a message for me, and I will get it and respond to it. So those are all the different analytics that we would have found and looked at while we are getting prepared to do our stream. So, OBS. This is my primary broadcasting software. Actually, I'm going to bring my picture up so you can see me. There I am at the bottom. I didn't go anywhere. Don't panic. So OBS is my main broadcasting software, and I love it. I've used the Twitch Studio. That's a good, especially if you're starting. It's got a very nice user interface, very easy to work with. OBS can be a little daunting when you first start it up. I'll make it a lot bigger so you can see it. But OBS can be a little daunting when you first get started. I'm going to stop my display capture. So that's not going to make a difference for you. Let me do this. Go to Studio now. Okay, so right now, what you're seeing on your screen is a large picture of my OBS, and I'm in studio mode. So what you see on the left is the next scene that I have queued up, and that was where I turned off my desktop capture. So the scene on the right, you can see my desktop, and then the scene on the left, you can't. So when I switch over to that, you're going to see only my picture and nothing. It's because I turned off my desktop capture. So I wanted to do that just to give you a quick idea, a quick picture of what OBS looks like in the background. So right now you can see OBS. It's got both the same scenes is ready. This is the one that's my preview. This is the next scene. And then this one here is the one that's actually going out, my broadcast program. So you can see those. Switch and go out. So now you can kind of understand what you're looking at. You're looking at a big picture of OBS, taking a big picture of OBS, taking a picture of OBS, taking a picture of OBS, taking a picture of OBS. So that's why it looks like it's got going off into the distance. So if I were to turn off my desktop capture, then you're not going to see that same set of off into the distance, but you're also not going to be able to see OBS because OBS is on my desktop, if that makes any sense. It can be a little confusing once you first get started looking at OBS like this. So I try and show this once in a while so you get the idea of what we're working with, what I'm working with. But it can be a little daunting at first. There's a lot here. I'm going to turn my video off again. There's a lot here. And let's see, there we go. There's a lot here. You've got audio mixer in the bottom, your scenes, your sources, transitions, controls. This is a lot of stuff to look at all at once. Twitch is a little bit nicer. It's a little bit simplified. It's a little bit better for new people, is in my opinion. So I just want to make that a little bit larger so you could see it. But now I'm going to go into my OBS settings, and this is really, really important. So up here in your file, and you can pull up your settings. Now that's going to open up. Make sure that's showing up. All right. So in here is where we're going to be changing a lot of these settings today. And you've got your stream settings, your output, audio, video, and I'm going to only change a couple of these to begin with because it's going to change up all my OBS display, so I'm not going to go mess with everything, but I'll show you where all of these are at. And so output, first of all, streaming and recording. This is the one you can see from before. We got our video bitrate, our audio bitrate, and then some of these other encoder presets. And these are all things you can change and adjust. And they are all each important depending on what your system is capable of. But this is where you would come to change these. Okay, so you can reduce the video bitrate, you can reduce the audio bitrate, and then the encoder. You've got these different settings for this. I've got mine set to ultra fast because I want to save on some of my resources there. So once I change this, I'm going to change this down, and then I'm going to change my video resolution. But so audio, nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted video. Video resolution. Now I can't change this while I'm rolling, so I'm going to turn off and then switch over. But for right now, I've got my base canvas resolution at 1920 by 1080, and I scaled down my output because I was having a bit of a problem with the stream itself. It was very, very choppy, so I pulled that down a bit, and hopefully that really made a difference for my stream. So I'm going to go back and check some of those, see how today's stream so far looks, and then make some adjustment and come back with something different so that it comes and it looks different, and we'll see what that what those values are, how that alters my my stream. So settings in OBS, this is where you're going to start to come looking to adjust things. You've got your output, your streaming output, your audio, your video, and then you can always go to advanced, and you've got some other settings in here. These ones are not going to alter your stream as much as the other ones, but video especially, this is your big one, and then also your output. So these two, video output and audio, video output and audio, audio bitrate here, and then video bitrate. So a couple of different things there. I'm going to go and shut down here in a second and try something else out and see how that looks. Show you a little bit of a different take on it and see what that does. And if it looks good, these look good for me so far. I was pretty happy with them. So I'm going to check my system resources again, and that's what I'm looking like there. So CPU still about the same. Network is all over the place, but so not looking too terrible. When I first started off, like I said, my CPU was maxed out to over 100, so that was, or over at 100, and it was just not good. So you get something, you're looking for those nice smooth, let's say, sure, why not? Okay, so OBS Stats, you can find that in your view, status bar, and then that'll give you, you can monitor as you go. So this is what I'm looking at right now. Everything looks pretty good. And then I can go back and check those recordings and check this recording, but I'm not going to check the recordings right now. I'll make some changes and switch back on here for a few minutes just to double check. So if you've been with me for the hour, I appreciate it, or the 45 minutes, I guess. Let me come back on here and say hi. There I am. Okay. So OBS, that in OBS settings, stream settings. Each one of the platforms that you'd be going out to has settings. OBS has settings that you can optimize for that to make that stream go out nicely. Pretty simple. There's a handful that you can adjust to make a difference depending on how old your computer is or how fast your network speeds are. But the first thing to know is, what are those numbers? So open up a browser, type in speed test, and click on that speed test and see what you can get. Hopefully you've got enough bandwidth to cover what you're needing. Right now I can download about 90 megabytes a second, and then send or upload about 6. So that gives me a pretty good range. I can do what I need to do with that. So if your numbers are in there somewhere, you should be pretty good. If they're a lot lower than that, then you're going to need to make some adjustments or change what it is you're streaming. If you're going to try streaming a game on top of your OBS video stream or something like that, those are adjustments you're going to have to make. But you can do it. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. You can get a great stream out with limited resources, but you just got to pay attention. You got to jump in there and have fun with it. Have fun, learn your pieces and parts, find out what's going on in your system, and you can do it. I know you can. So that's it for me right now. Like I said, I'm going to switch over, change a few things, come back on for a few minutes, see how that looks, and then I'll put these together so that there's not a break in there. But my name is Michael Kyer, and I'm out here 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, putting out some great information about streaming and software and video conferencing, and just trying to get that information out so that if you're new, if you're thinking about streaming, you can have some great resources to get yourself started and go, because it's important. Positive voices are important. Last thing I want to say is, as always, is if this Omicron thing is looking bad. So if you have a chance, if you're eligible, get your vaccine, please. Get your vaccine, get your second vaccine, get your booster, whatever you're eligible for, please do it. It's good for you, it's good for your neighbors, it's good for all of us. Want to get out ahead of this thing so we can get back to a little bit more normal, face-to-face, in-person, meetings and saying hello and parties. That would be really nice. But this year, it's not looking like that's going to happen. So please get out there and get your vaccines. Okay, so that's it. As always, have fun, learn, and hopefully, if you're watching, I'll see you back in a couple of minutes. But if not, I will see you on Friday. Let's see, Friday is the 31st, so the last day of the year. I will see you on New Year's Eve. And if not, I will see you in 2022. Okay? All right, have a great